Je veux juste ajouter quelques petites statistiques pour montrer. Yeah, sorry. I am a Quebecer as well, I should let everybody know. I was born in the province of Quebec, but I was raised here in Toronto, so that's why I'm a Habs fan, not a Leafs fan. But there's a couple of things I would like to point out. I was actually in Ryerson University's journalism program. I graduated last year. I went back as a mature student, and I actually wanted to do an article. I did the article, but they didn't publish it, on precisely this subject, secularism in Quebec. And I came across some interesting statistics that I think will help put in better perspective Danielle's presentation today, because in French Quebec, when they talk about religion, they talk about not simply, the little church on the side street, but an actual political entity governing the province. For example, La Grande Noirceur, the Big Darkness in the 50s, when the French passed a law in 1905 for the separation of church and state, that triggered an exodus of priests, nuns, and monks and so forth, many of whom went to Quebec. So in 1955, I believe it was, there were 55,000 nuns, priests, like official clerical people in the province of Quebec. The population was 4.1 million, so that works out to one official cleric for every 72 people. Today it's one for every 350. In Canada as a whole, it's one for every 1,100, I think. Okay, so like when you went into a grocery store, when you went into the bank, there was a priest or a monk or a nun, watching over. That's the first thing. And he also mentions a lot of the Freemasons come up quite a bit. I was in Paris in 2005, in July actually, to celebrate the anniversary of that with the IHEU. They had a big conference for the celebration of the 1905 law. And I was talking with actually CFI Director for International, Hugo Estrella, and one of the fellows, Sam, who was with the French Livre Français, who was doing the translating. And so we were having a dinner, and he said to Hugo, he said, well, one of my friends has been asking me to join the Freemasons, but I can't be bothered. And I stopped him. I said, ho. Because as Doug mentioned, I said, no, I thought Freemason you had to decree, a belief in a deity. And he's like, oh, no, not in France. So they accept atheists in the French wings of Freemasonry. So I think that's a very important distinction to mention as well.
Other question or? That's clear enough? Okay, thank you.
Since you mentioned and brought up the whole issue of education and secularism, I should just point out that we have a petition at the back for one school system campaign here in Ontario. Quebec last decade, I guess even the mid-90s, an amendment in their constitution, actually it's on that board to get rid of public financing of Catholic schools. In Ontario, we still have this. Our American colleagues here today are probably scratching their heads and wondering about intelligent design south of the border. We have Catholicism, something that all taxpayers in Ontario are paying for in the Catholic separate schools. So anyways, if you are an Ontario resident, please do sign that petition if you haven't already at the back. Other than that, we have come to the end of our sessions, of the sessional part of the conference. So that concludes the bulk of the conference. Those of you who purchased your blue tickets, I believe they're blue, for the dinner, just to tell you a bit about that, it's just after 5 now. So the dinner starts at 6 at Cafe Mercurio, which is at St. George and Bloor, just a couple of addresses east of St. George and Bloor, on the south side of Bloor, 321 Bloor West. So we'll meet there around, I'd say 10 to 6 for Dr. Morgenthaler and Dr. Buckman will open up, and then we'll have our dinner. Other than that, I just want you to help me thank once again the 6 illustrious presenters that we had today.
And any of them who want to do a Free Thought Radio plug, I'm looking forward to meeting you as well.
Hi, just a bit more of your time. So my name's Ron Brown. I recently began co-running and developing the University of Toronto chapter of the FAC. As I'm sure most of you know, the TSA became the FAC, and now that left U of T to the chapter, and so here we are. So I just wanted to tell you about the initiative. We're I've just begun. It's very young in its infancy, and I want to run it by you because I think it's something that you'll all want to take part of, and I really could use some help with it. It helps of a variety of sorts. So anyhow, you'll hear what that means in a few seconds. Basically, the idea is FAC does most of its marketing towards, most of its campaign towards students. And I wanted to increase the amount of campaigning that's done towards involving University of Toronto faculty with us. Obviously, like the group strongly embraces faculty, but most of its campaigning is directed primarily towards students. Faculty being sociologically studied, literally either the number one or very close to it most respected group in all of Canada. 2, they're overwhelmingly a secular bunch, and 3, they're basically like superheroes on campuses, at least at U of T. I think it's just they are perhaps the best, aside from students, they make the best group of people that collectively can do a lot for the secular movement. And the CFI realizes the CFI has many faculty as their members, so does Canadian Skeptics. So my agenda basically, what I'd like to do is make a grand effort, not just at U of T, but across Canada, to work to strongly engage university faculty in our secular organizations. But it goes more than that. And when I said other types of help, Justin and I, we're talking right now, and we haven't decided yet fully what we're going to do about this, but we're considering possibly making a proposal for funding, you know, to groups like the CFI, to try and create a whole new position that would be like a national coordinator that would work towards organizing faculty across Canada to create, one, a political lobbying group for Canadian profs that would be there to comment on Canadian policy, 2, to set a strong example on campus to promote student engagement, because as we all know, students tend to respect their profs, and if we have a coherent body of profs who stand together with a message, it's gonna, I think, be persuasive to students as well as politicians. So we are considering applying for funding for this, but as for help that I'd like to ask people here for, there's a variety of things that can be done. If you're a university professor at the University of Toronto, please come talk to me. By the way, my email is ron.brown@utoronto.ca, and I'll make sure everyone can get that. Please write me, contact me, or talk to me today and say I'd like to become a faculty member of the FAC. If you're not already, though I assume you already are right now. So the next thing that a faculty member can do is try and, through your departmental publications, like your interdepartmental newsletters, see if you can put an ad forward advertising this group and this initiative. I will provide you with an ad that you can check for your approval. That's another thing that can be done. Word of mouth is another great thing among the faculty. If you're at another university, please contact me, and so that we can try and organize an effort to get faculty at that university to join with us here and with that university's Secular Alliance. That's another thing that can be done. And if you're none of these things, but you're here and you want to be part of the cause, this is a huge effort. There are thousands and thousands of university professors and college professors in Canada. And to create an organization along the lines of Canadian university and college faculty for secularism involves contacting a lot of people. We want to be able to make it as personal as possible. And I really could use a lot of help in being able to contact people. So far I've contacted about 7 or 8 people. We've gotten 4 responses, all positive. In the last 2 weeks, U of T's first 4 faculty advisors have been added. The first one is literally one of U of T's most famous professors of the day. His name's Mark Kingwell. You might have seen him in the documentary The Corporation. He's published many books. He's published in the New York Times Magazine, Harper's. He's just quite simply huge. There's also Larry Moran of biochemistry, Fred Wilson of philosophy, and John Verbeke of cognitive science, who's already agreed to give presentations with us next year at U of T. So this is a great initiative, and I think it has fantastic possibilities for promoting the movement in Canada, as well as setting an example in the rest of the world, and I could really use your support. So again, well, I'll be here all night. My name is Ron Brown. Email ron.brown@utoronto.ca. You can also get that through Justin by contacting the center. And I hope I can look forward to cooperating with you on this very worthy endeavor.
Can you